What up, YouTube? Jay Riz here. Finally got a guest, man. It's been a long time coming. Been asking this guy to get on the show. My brother here, Cliff. We're finally gonna shoot an episode where we're gonna have basically a smoke sesh, but we're not gonna be smoking. We're gonna be talking about that fire, the flames that we're gonna be bringing to YouTube. My channel finally needs some guests, so this is the proportion of the part of the program where I'm gonna start having guests on, and not only hear my side of the story, my turmoil, my addiction. You guys don't want to hear all that. You guys already seen all that. Now we're gonna get other people on and have a chance for them to start telling their part of their story. Which is what I want to hear. This is what I was starting. This is why I started this channel for you guys. The viewers, the subscribers, the guys that leave likes. So without further ado, I got my little brother Cliff here. I grew up with him in Twin Buttes. It was crazy. I met him in Twin Buttes when we were in early elementary. Earliest memory I have of him is he shot his finger with a Red Ryder BB gun. I don't know, I think it was his pointer finger, but he shot it with a Red Ryder, and he was all showing me it on the bus, and it was crazy. And then we lost touch, right? I moved away from Twin Buttes. That's where we met each other back in the early 80s. I moved away, went to Partial, went to elementary school, middle school, and then when I got into high school, here comes Cliff. Cliff comes to high school in Partial, so it's like we went full circle. We met, and then as we got older, we broke away. We started graduating high school, whatnot, having little families, and then we lost touch again for 20 years. I'd say about 20 years. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting up at Good Road Recovery Center, and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for some residents from Sober Living, and this dude walks up to me, and I was looking at my phone. He's like, "Are you JC?" I believe that's what you said, huh?
Hi. Yeah.
Like, "Are you Jay?"
I can't remember what I said.
You're like, "Jay?" And I looked up and I was like, "Oh, what the?" I was like, "Hey, what's up, brother?" I best I could, I jumped up and gave him a hug, and I was like, "God dang, Cliff, man. What the hell, of all places, this guy." Met him again in treatment 20 years later. So it's like we have all these little ties. We get back together, we see each other, and now he's in my Sober Living house, and he's training to be a house manager, which is cool. When I went down for my surgery, he stepped up and he started driving, and he's doing the house manager duties now. And this is what Sober Living is all about. We plant that seed of hope when we get people in, and we help them, kind of like how my story was. Eventually I started out as a resident, and I worked myself up to be a house manager, and that's what Cliff's doing now, and I'm really happy to have him in my house. It's been a blessing. He helped out a lot, and I really appreciate the guy. And I'll let Cliff talk now, but without further ado, my little brother Cliff.
My name's Cliff Mossett, Short Bowl, Lincoln, North Dakota here. My sober day, it's 11/17/23. My sponsors, I don't know if I should say my sponsor though, but yeah. What Jay Riz was talking about, I was fresh in like residential treatment, and I recognized him, and I was like, I didn't know if I could do this sober thing. And I sat down next to him because he was smudging people in, and I was like, I wanted to talk to him, so I sat by him, and then I was sitting there. I was like, how did this guy sober up? And I looked at him, and this is like one of the most, it really moved me what I asked him. I was like, how did you sober up, bro? And he just looked at me and said, God. And that was like, that's all I needed to know. And that sticks with me every day of my recovery. The sincere, how you say that word, sincere look on his face, and just one word really moved me. And after that, I could start to believe this sobriety thing could work if I just had like a higher power. And I seen that it worked with him, and I seen how like different he was. That's what I wanted, was to like have that kind of drive, that inspiration. That was inspiration. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was just straight up inspiration. That was like one of my bigger parts of my recovery, was right there when he said God, yeah, that's all I needed to know. Yeah. And basically that was how we came together after 20 some years, it's crazy, yeah. But I suppose I could start with my stories. So I don't know. I'll just start from like I was raised in on the reservation of Fort Berthold, North Dakota, on the south side of like Twin Buttes. As a kid, I was really blessed. I was raised at like a resort, and there was drinking, like, but there wasn't like drinking like domestic drinking. There was just like people that had resort homes, right? And they were like happy, they had nice boats, they had nice cars, nice looking women, and they were smoking, and I was thinking, well, I want that, and so I'd go to these boats when we were younger, and we'd just start grabbing beer out of their coolers, and that was like the first time with alcohol and cigarettes and stuff, and then, but I was really young, and it just kind of snowballed from there, I moved up to Twin Buttes, where my grandma definitely didn't want me to go, yeah, because that's when I seen like alcohol was a bad thing, the just the bad sides of addiction, alcoholism, domesticated, rowdiness, and yeah, it was kind of tough to see that, man. It was different, and blackout drinking, let's see, and then like I don't know, that led up to my high school years, and then we kind of like partied all through high school too. Yeah, we lived out in the country, so like all the kids from town would come out and party where we were at, because it was a reservation, there wasn't really no cops. So us kids were just like running rampant out there. Yeah, it was crazy. But I noticed like our drinking was like not just on weekends. It was like it was starting to like become like daily, even at a young age. And geez, I was well on my way by the time we hit 18, and then 18 we get a per cap, and yeah, we get like a sum of money, and it was like it just kind of got worse and worse, like that's like when I started like I started doing like heavy drugs at a young age. Like I was drinking at really young. Then I was like 14, and I started doing like meth and acid, mushrooms, all the whatever I could find, or huff gas. Like, so I didn't really give my brain a chance to develop, and it was like it was just something we did on the reservation, like drinking, and I don't know, like when we hunted, when we fished, it was just like they went hand in hand. Football, sports, like we'd watch football and get drunk, and yeah, so that was like to my 18, and I was pretty wild.
Did you ever go to jail, prison, or anything?
Oh, yeah.
Get in trouble?
Oh, yeah, I went to jail a few times for like minor consumptions. The crazy thing about this is like, I was so glad I never killed anybody like driving. I thank God for that, because I had a few relatives that and friends that killed people in vehicles, and like on the reservation, that's like one of the worst things is drunk driving. I don't know how many countless people we lost to drunk driving. Like during that Memorial Day on the res, they'll put up little crosses that one year, and there was crosses in all over the place. It was really sad.
Me and you got into a wreck together, huh?
Yeah.
Along with like 4 or 5 other guys.
Yeah.
I actually thought this guy was dead, because I remember we hit the ditch, we rolled once, and one of our buddies was like, Cliff's dead, and I looked over at Cliff, because we were sitting in the back, and Cliff was all hunched over, and I'm like, oh shit, he's dead, man. Excuse my language. So what I did, the car was all crushed in, right? I jumped out and I started walking toward town. You know, we were 5 miles out of town and it was night. It was 2 or 3 in the morning, and I started walking towards town. I got maybe a half a mile down the road and I hear this car start up. Smash! The car starts up. Run, 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 run. Hits the road, squeals its tires, and it's pulling up behind me. And it's the same driver, or no, it's the different driver. He's still our bro here. He's driving. He said, "Get that in, Jay. We're going to town. Get in, man." And the car was all crushed and everything. And I looked back, and Cliff was sitting there, and he wasn't dead. It's crazy, crazy times, man. Anyway, yeah. Cool.
Oh yeah, a bunch of like minor consumptions, driving under suspension. Never had my license until I was like 38 years old. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just crazy how I lived. Let's see. I didn't really go to like any prisons or anything like that, but every day we drive by the state prison here and this county jail here, and it's like, man, I can't believe I'm not in there. The only difference between them and me is that I had dumb luck on my side, and I didn't get caught.
God had a purpose for you, huh? God had a purpose.
Yeah, I still remember that night we crashed too. It's crazy.
Me too.
Yeah.
We were lucky to be alive. Crazy.
All kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah. So how about your family life? Like, how many kids do you have? And
I got a son and a daughter. They're in their 20s. I'm a grandpa at like 38 years old. Nice. I'm 43 right now. Oh, yeah. And those are going to be the first ones I'm going to do my amends with, and my, because I haven't been in their life due to my addiction. And so I'm trying to like sober up, and
you're doing it.
Yeah, I'm like on my amends part right now too, so yeah.
Yeah, the amends ain't no joke, man.
Yeah.
Like I did a few right off the bat, but I still have a lot to do, but
I could tell all about the drugs and stuff, but it just it went nowhere fast. I did drugs for like 30 years, and it got to be depressing.
What actually, I know you got in a horrific accident. You almost lost your life. Was that a big factor?
I forgot about that. I was in an accident. It was like I was doing some iron work on a bridge, and there was a collapse. It collapsed. A guy, I don't know if I'm telling you the whole story, but anyways, he untied to come along, and we all went over. It was crazy. I thought for sure I was gonna die, But as I was like, I was trying to actually jump off. I did on my wall hooks and my lanyards and try to cut my wall hook off, but the rebar fell too fast, and here I was falling towards my death. I thought for sure, and the only thing I thought was like, man, I'm gonna miss you guys. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thought I could think of. But then God blessed me with another chance at life. I made it through that accident, and there were some unfortunate ones that lost their life too, though, so. But this is when, like, my addiction was, like, so I go to the hospital, right? And my leg was smashed to bits, my back, just my whole body was smashed, basically smashed up, head to toe. And they put me on like Dilaudid, because I didn't like the morphine because I was having repetitive nightmares with this morphine, but I liked it because it took away my pain. And Dilaudid and all that stuff, and I spent like 14 months in a hospital on these drugs, I didn't know I was a junkie until I just thought it was my medication, so I used it like that, I used it for my pain in the hospital. But when I got out, I was going to physical therapy, and that's when my addiction was like getting bad because I would use alcohol with my prescribed medication, and
So
because it get that higher effect, you
you're
know.
getting messed up, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh,
And that didn't last long.
yeah.
I ended up with getting cirrhosis. My liver started shutting down. My doctor was like, no more narcota. He was like, he was, I don't know what ethnic group he was from, but he was like, no more narcota, you know. And he's like, you're gonna die, you know. He's like, your liver had the yellow eyes.
Jaundice?
Jaundice, yeah.
Damn.
And by then, I was addicted to pills by then, and I didn't know it. So he cut me off cold turkey, and like with no, I don't even think there was Suboxone back then. And I didn't know I was addicted, right? Geez, man. And then they cut me off my pills, and oh man, I was like, the worst thing ever, man. Like, so I start drinking more, and I start buying drugs off the street, you know. And
the search was on.
Yeah, I was like 23 when I was in an accident, and I'm like 20 years later. I'm 43, so it was like, oh.
You're still chasing that dragon?
Yeah, I was 20 years in the
Damn.
in addiction.
Narcotics. Huh?
Narcotics. I was more like a barbiturates guy,
Yeah.
but then I started doing like amphetamines. I did those too, and the alcohol.
So when you're doing them, you're like slamming them, and
Yeah,
smoking anything, huh? Booty
yeah,
bumping.
smoke. Yeah. No, not
Can't
that
stand booty bumping.
No, nobody bumps it. No. Actually, yeah, I was intravenously using drugs for a long time. The scary thing about that was that, you know, it's just, you want to catch that first time. You want to catch that first time again, but you never, you don't ever catch it again.
You try though, huh?
Yeah.
You try. Damn. So were you ever a carpet surfer?
Yep.
You walk into your place and your fucking your butt's in the air and you're like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
That was you, huh?
Yeah. Actually, there's a story there, but I don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy.
I remember one time I thought I found a piece of rock in my apartment, and it was ice melt.
Yeah.
I put it in a bulb and I started burning it. It fucking popped. It was blue. What the heck?
Yeah.
It was ice melt, man. Anyway.
Yeah, crazy stories like that. Yeah.
Basically, so you got in your accident.
20 years of pills and drugs.
20 years of just wicked abuse, just chasing that dragon, never could find it. And you got to the point in your life, so what brought you to treatment? What brought you to the Good Road Recovery Center up there?
I was depressed. I lived in a town, like, I mean, it was always home, but then I was isolating myself. I didn't look good, you know. I was gray, sunken, you know.
Were you skinny?
Yeah, skinny. I was like pretty bad, and everybody were telling me they were worried about me, you know. Even the cops would come do welfare checks on me. They're like, Cliff, man, you should get some help. And that's the one thing, like, I wasn't praying to go to treatment. It seemed like everybody else prayed for me, and that's who I thank to this day, like, my family and friends. They were praying for me, you know. They didn't want me to die.
Yeah. Nobody committed you? You just went on your own?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
That's
That's good.
It was, I lost a younger brother due to, you know, like, substance abuse and...
Mm-hmm. The life, huh?
Like, yeah, I just lost somebody yesterday, you know.
Damn.
That, you know, fentanyl and all that shit. And I don't know, we lost so many people due to this.
Yeah.
First, it used to be all, like, drinking and driving that was taking us out, you know. And then now it's the fentanyl thing is, like, really wiping us out, you know.
Scary.
yeah, if you don't die, you're gonna get cooked, you know. So it's like it's scary now, cause like back in our day, we didn't have none of that.
No.
I mean, heroin and stuff, you know.
If you were lucky,
yeah. I mean, these drugs weren't like until the oil boom came.
That was before the oil boom was say, man. We didn't have nothing. We had chicken, we had crank.
Yeah, we didn't really have these fancy drugs, man.
All these synthetic drugs.
Yeah. Like nowadays they got like DMT and all these fancy drugs, you know.
Ketamine and stuff like that.
I don't even.
Yeah, I don't.
It was like, well, with the oil boom, they got crazy money. You know what I mean? And
so the oil boom he's talking about is on a reservation in Newtown, the Fort Berthold Indian Reservation, 3 affiliated tribes. As soon as the oil came, you know, all these people came from all across the country, right?
Every state.
Just bringing in drugs, you know, people of all colors. It was crazy. I talked about it in my previous video.
Cartel.
We went to Newtown, and I was telling you guys about if you guys want to hear about Newtown, it's in previous videos. You can check out my page, channel. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that was, that's when you start seeing, like, people start to die, you know, get cooked. It was scary. It was like we didn't know how to spend money, you know. There'd be a $80,000 car sitting out in front of a trailer house, you know what I mean? Just like that, you know.
Broke down.
yeah. Yeah, I was like, cause we're not
no
good.
Tires.
We're not good with money. I hate to say that, but like, yeah. It was we spent it really foolishly. Yeah, it's just that thing, like that oil money really divided us up. You know, like families were fighting each other. And then everybody thinks we get oil money, but we don't.
Yeah, our tribe.
Yeah, everybody else thinks we get money, but like it's the people, the landowners actually. And well, I guess we get a cut every once in a while.
Yeah, every 4 months we get $1,000 a tribal member, but that ain't nothing compared to the billions of revenue oil makes for our tribe. I don't know where it's going.
It's not M's, it's B's, I guess.
Yeah. If you guys know where it's going, drop a comment below. I don't know. You know, you guys might know a little bit more about the oil boom and the money where it's going, but I don't. You know, I'm happy where I'm at.
How I got the treatment. Yeah. How I got the treatment was by everybody else's prayers. Cause I wasn't praying. I was just depressed and.
Did you know how to pray?
Yeah.
Did you have religion?
When we were in school, we had like catechism.
Yeah, I remember catechism.
And Father Steve was like.
Is it Father Stevens?
Yeah.
Stevens, yeah. I remember
that. He was really cool, man. He would tell like parts of the Bible, and it was like I love those stories, man. They're moving, you know, and there was. Like all these stories, they make movies out, you know. And
you know what's crazy? I still remember the guardian angel prayer. Like I say that every night, and you can substitute me and I for R and we, the guardian angel, guardian dear. I learned that in catechism in like 3rd grade, and I still remember, and I still say it. It's crazy. You remember catechism? They used to give you a little bag of candy.
Yeah, little cuts out newspapers out and stuff. Like this is we're from the old school and
the early 80s, man.
Yeah. This is when they let religion come to school. Yeah. You know what I mean? Nowadays, it's they don't do that no more. Right. But we were blessed, you know, to learn about higher power and stuff. You know, how to pray. Like when I went to like church on Sundays, but like you know, it wasn't like just here and there. You know, like Christmas and Easter's and
It was just
always had people like wanting me to go, you know, like my aunties and grandma and stuff, but
it just didn't interest you, huh? It didn't grab your attention? Like
for me it was like I couldn't sit still for that long.
A waste of time?
Not a waste of time. I did feel better
after church.
You know, you always don't want to go, but then when you go, you feel better when you're done.
Kind of like when we go to AA meetings. Yeah. I don't go, man. But after you're done, you're like, yeah. Shooting the guns like big man.
We're just talking about that, it was definitely people praying for me. Okay, this cop came up to me and he was doing a welfare check on me, and he was telling me, he's like, Cliff, when I first got here, you had muscles and had a job, you were doing good. And then he's like, man, Cliff, maybe you should get some help. You know, I seen Ryan B. He was a sober lodge guy. And,
yeah, in Twin Buttes. Huh?
Yeah, and he was like, Cliff, you look like death.
Damn. I can hear him saying that too.
You know, and I was like, let me just go out to your sober living so I can sober up, you know. And he was like, man, I wish I could. I wish there was something about like detox insurance stuff, but he really wanted to just take me out to that sober living, and just because he was scared for my life. I didn't know him, but he actually cared, and so he was the house manager. And it's crazy, like now I see him nowadays, and he's like, man, look at you now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
nice and healthy.
Yeah, nice and healthy, and
you got life now.
Yeah, like gained some weight, obviously recovery weight.
Yeah, we all gain weight.
I don't know, like in residential, I was like kind of like those emotions hit you, you know, that all that guilt and shame, because I was numb for all those years, and
reality kicks in.
Yeah, man, it was.
The scars start coming. The wounds start
healing. I start crying, bro.
Yeah.
And I could not stop crying because I felt so guilty about what I've done and what I didn't do. Yeah. All those years, you know, like with my kids and my wife, and I wasn't no good to be around. I was obnoxious. I was violent. I was the worst parts of addiction. Yeah. You know. Yeah, just
you were turmoil driven, huh?
Just
evil.
Yeah. I still
am evil. No.
I wasn't like burning people or anything like that, or stealing or nothing like that. But I did go on a couple missions.
Yeah. Steal from somebody and help them look for it.
No, I ain't gonna incriminate myself right now. So yeah. But I still remember that day. You know, I was coming out of residential, and all my feelings came back, and I was gonna walk out. All I wanted to do was get high because I felt that guilt, that shame, the regret.
Yeah, that's unhealed addiction. Huh? You didn't start the steps yet, right?
No.
So you were ready to go. That's what you're used to doing,
running, getting high. That's what I was gonna do.
That's what I'm used to doing too, man.
Because I didn't want to feel that. I didn't want to feel that guilt and shame and reality, because that's what I was running from all these years. Was life. Yeah. And every time life start coming, I'd get high. Yep. Or drink. Yeah. So there was this really nice lady at I won't say her name, but I think I told her she was like my angel, you know, because I was ready to walk out. There was people telling me, oh, just stay, Cliff, just stay. But I was going to walk out, you know. Ain't no one going to hold me back, you know. Yeah. But this lady, God like puts these people in your life, you know. Definitely. And she sat me down and we talked. And I was just still crying. She's like, it's all right to cry. You know, to feel those feelings, you know. I was like, I don't want to feel this. She's like, well, you haven't felt anything for the last 20 years. It's all coming. Yeah. And that was scary for me. Like I felt bad how I've been treating my mom, my whole family. Like they didn't want nothing, you know, they didn't want to see me anymore. Yeah. And I don't blame them. Right. Because I was always on one or just gonna be on one. Yeah. In and out, you know, and it was so nice because she volunteered her time there, and she would bring in like snacks and stuff, and I respected her because she was volunteering her time. You know, she wasn't on the clock. She was doing this out of the kindness of her heart.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And she saved my recovery. She really did. Yeah. She sat there and talked me down till I was done crying. It took me like about an hour or so to quit crying. Damn. Because I just couldn't stop crying, man. Like I had some bros trying to talk to me, and It wasn't working. But she, like, it must be that mother's touch or that, grandma.
The affection.
Yeah, like because she had something happen in her life where substance and alcohol touched her, and she told me her story, and it kind of like resonated with me too, because I OD'd handful of times on this and that, and it's like I was telling the guys, I was like, man, I'm like on my 13th, 14th life, man. All the car wrecks and all this and that, accidents.
ODs?
ODs.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
14 lives over there.
Yeah. Like when we wrecked, that was crazy. That's just one of them.
That saved all of us, man. We all walked with a couple of chicks that broke their noses with.
Yeah. And then this lady kept me in treatment, and I know God put her in my life. Like you.
Yeah.
I know God put these ain't coincidences. Right. This is like God's giving me this one more chance. He's like you know what I mean? They're like I did have a relapse in my treatment, right? And then and I almost died. They said if I didn't go to the hospital, I would have died. And they were like gonna Narcan me and stuff, and I was like, no, I don't want to be Narcan, kind of want to enjoy that last buzz. Oh, yeah. But when I relapsed, I had a head full of AA. Like I actually grew a conscience. Like it's not fun to get high when you got a head full of AA. It's like you actually think, you know what I mean? Like I was like all that stuff I was learning.
So you already had that little seed of hope planted in you. Right?
Yeah, and I was just trying to get more high, so I didn't hear that. And it was like, and then there was people calling my phone, like from Good Road, and people that cared.
People that loved you.
Yeah, they're like, just go back to detox. Yeah. And it was tough because, it was just, But I was like, had that AA in my head and a little bit of faith and
you knew there was a better life out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you knew there was this
depression,
the darkness.
Poor me. I'll show them how sad. Boom, and
the poor me syndrome.
Yeah, pity party or whatever they call it.
Pity pot.
Yeah, and it was like the party was over.
That shit sailed. Huh?
Yeah, it was just like wasn't fun no more. It was getting bad. Like I would walk into a room and forgot why I'd come in there. You know what I mean? Just rummy all the time, kind of basically cooked. Cooked, not fried though, bro.
Yeah. This guy straight up told me, he's like, I just look like that. I was like, holy shit. You guys gonna make him a shirt like this one? Like, I just look like this?
Yeah.
And Bill and Ted. This guy's Ted. That's embarrassing right now. But anyway, but I remember you coming to sober living, and something happened. You know what I mean? Like what happened?
When I first got to sober living, it was like, oh man, I had no money. I had little faith in like staying here, and see, like God does put these people in your life, like this guy. And like there was a few other guys in the house. I ain't gonna say their name, but they know who they are. Yeah. They helped me with food. They gave me like winter jackets and like I didn't know them, but they treated me like one of the guys. Like I've been here forever.
Open arms. Huh?
Yeah.
That's how these MHA sober livings are, because they did the same thing to me. I was so mad. Anyway, you guys heard my story, but yeah, go ahead.
I had no money. No car, no like phone, no minutes. All these I was making all these reasons to leave sober living.
These excuses.
Yeah. I was like, but then by the grace of God and that higher power, he slowly started showing me these little things. Like I call them God shots or whatever, but.
More will be revealed, as they say in the big book.
Yeah, man, and
that's cool.
And it's just like the more I'm in this program, the more I learn. It comes slow for me, but
Oh,
at least it's coming though,
yeah,
you know. Like every day it's like a miracle too, because you see little things,
yeah,
you know, and I get to like the new guys coming, I'm gonna do what the old guys did for me, you know,
yeah.
like just cooking, just helping them out, just getting them to meetings,
Pay it forward.
yeah, just trying to like make them feel comfortable,
Yeah, that's good.
let them know that
That's
I'm
good.
here to like help you, bro, you
Yeah.
know, and because we're all on edge in this sober living, residential, whatever, you know, you don't, like I was, you know, because I was just making up excuses to leave, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, shit. But then, like, the more you give this program, like, to just have a little patience. I always prayed for patience, too, because, like, man, I couldn't even sit still or, like, just, yeah, it's like, but this thing, it just gets better the more I hang out, you know. I love big book study. Like Jay Riz here, he passed the torch on to me, like a commitment at one of our meetings, and that's really cool. I felt honored that he did that, you know, passing that torch to me. One of the guys at the office, he's like, yeah, this is a movement now, and it is cool to be sober, you know, and it is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sobriety is a good thing, man.
yeah, I'm actually starting to look at life. Like, my life, I just kind of like survived it. You know, I was going through it. But now I'm kind of finally starting to live it.
You're looking from the outside looking in now, huh?
Yeah.
Instead of looking out.
Yeah, like.
It's cool, man.
It's,
I seen the growth, especially when you first got here in the house. You know, you explained a lot, like how you were lost, how you didn't want to be here. You know, how you were still trying to chase that dragon, but, you know, something happened and I seen it as you were doing the steps. That spiritual awakening, so to speak, you know, that you had knocking these steps out, and the change in attitude, the change in mentality, you know, and, you know, I see it. You may not see it, but we see it around you.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's this beat in my head, you know, like that old, it's like, I don't know how the beat goes, but, it's like a happy beat, and it's like going in my head all day now. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's like Sanford and Son or something. Yeah, like that. So I'm just walking around.
I know what you mean, because I caught myself like actually humming a beat or, you know, saying a beat. I'm all happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, what
yeah.
Must be a little higher power.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's
crazy, man.
That's sobriety right there, man.
That's the power of God talking through us. Right there. That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool you remembered it, because I was like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm just really glad you're here, and a lot has changed, and we continue to change. You know what I mean?
Just like God put you in my life. I know
it's
that.
crazy. Huh?
I know that because
there's like 3 times we just 40-year span we crossed paths, and here we are again. You know?
Yeah.
That's why I asked you to be on. I'm like, man, this guy needs to be on, man, Cliff.
Cause like when I asked Jay that question, and I was like, how do you stay sober? How did you stay sober, bro, for all this?
How'd you do it?
How did you do it? And he just looked at me and said, God. And that's all he needed to say. And from there, I was moved.
Yeah. That's cool. It's powerful. I didn't even know I said it, but I was telling him the truth.
Yeah, and it just stuck with me, and I just I had a hard time like meditating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not really that good at it.
Because your mind wanders, huh?
Yeah, like when I first started reading a big book, I was like, my brain was all over. Yeah. Like I could read a page and not
forget about what.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell did I just read? But it was crazy. The more book studies, my sponsor's awesome. These guys saved my life, and I owe a lot to my sponsor. Good Road, Sober Living. Because if I didn't do this, I would probably been in prison or OD'd or again died. Just something bad, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Like this guy, like you know, he was a big part of my recovery,
Oh, yeah.
and I cannot thank you enough.
Oh
Bro.
yeah, thanks, bro. That's cool. All right. Because before we used to get high together, we used to smoke together, we used to drink together, we used to use together, you know, we used to steal together, rob, everything. But now look at us, we're in sober living, we're doing the deal, you know, we're doing what they ask of us, we're helping others, you know. That's what this MHA's mandated out to Rick Ross Sober Living is all about. You know, it's teaching us to be sober, it's transitioning us and to incorporate sobriety into our everyday living, and that's what we're doing. Cliff's doing it now. He's helping out the newcomer that comes into our houses. You know, I helped him out when he came. You know, it's not the vicious cycle of insanity. It's a different cycle. It's a cycle of
Gratitude.
just gratitude and His goodness, kindness, God. You know what I mean? Is working every day, man. I think sober living is saving my life, man.
Like you do what was, you know, how do you say that? Like you do unto others what we, you know, you know, guys know what I mean. Yeah, because if it wasn't for these guys, you know, you know, they're giving me a chance to grow, you know, and
yeah. I said a big shout out to Justin Baker, my boss. You know, it's like he along with Jared Baker, you know, those two. There's a handful of others, big man. You know, I'll eventually get them on the show, and you guys can all meet them. But they have a big part of this movement that he called a movement. This MHA Sober Living, you know, this ain't the only house that we have through our tribe. There's numerous houses, and it's crazy, man. It is happening, and if you guys want to be a part of it, you know, just Google us, MHA Sober Living. You can look us up on Facebook, but it's a good thing, man. We're doing big things over here in North Dakota, so.
Recovery warrior.
Yeah, recovery warrior. That's what we're all about. Yeah. But yeah, thanks, Cliff. Thanks for coming on, man.
Love you, bro.
Love you too. We'll see you guys again. And if you like what you see, hit that like. And if you want to see more, subscribe.
Subscribe.
Have a good night. Love you guys.
Yeah, happy Easter, guys.